Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my March wrap-up. So I read a total of 11 books in March. 3 of them were physical copies and 8 of them were ebooks. I had an okay reading month. I feel like definitely towards the end of the month I read more, but I don't know, it was decent, I guess. Let's get into the 11 books I read in March. The first one I read was The Boy on the Bridge by Sam Mariano. This was her newest dark bully romance. And this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but it definitely felt way too similar to Untouchable. I really loved Untouchable. It was like the first really dark bully romance I had ever read. This one is definitely very similar, but it's also lighter. It literally felt like the same book, just tamer. Honestly, if I think about it, it's maybe a 3-star. There were parts I liked, but again, it just felt way too similar to Untouchable. Also, I hated that one scene, and I was so scared that this whole book was gonna go in that direction because it's the reason why I hated her mafia book, which was Accidental Witness. I hated that book. I gave it 1 star, and I thought this was also going to go in that same direction, and I was like, please do not, please do not. It didn't go there, but it had similarities, I guess. It follows these 2 characters who kind of have this bond. They both feel like they don't belong, and they kind of build this bond when they're a little younger, I think. Then the female character obviously exposes one of his secrets, and he eventually gets sent to live with a different family member, and now a couple of years later he is back in town and he is wanting to make the female character's life hell, and he bullies her, all of that jazz. It was alright. I gave it 4 stars because I did like the writing and I did like the story itself. The characters and the plot was exactly like Untouchable. I liked it, but I also didn't, if that makes sense. Then I read Crush by Tracy Wolff. This is the sequel to Crave, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is so unnecessarily long. It's very long, and that's one of the reasons why I gave it 3 stars. It's just so long. There's definitely things that the author could have cut out. Like one of the big fight scenes she could have made shorter, stuff like that. It just went on and on and on for certain things. This series follows our female character who is kind of discovering who she is, and she ends up at this school for paranormal creatures. It's really fun. It feels very nostalgic, and I do like the characters and the romance and the plot in general. I am so excited to see where the 3rd book goes. I do own it, so I can't wait to pick that one up. I wasn't sure how I would feel about this because you do get to a point where you're not sure if this is going in the direction you think it's going, and then it does go there, and you're like, am I okay with this? Do I like this? I know it doesn't make sense to people who haven't read it, but there's some certain characters in here that you maybe start feeling different towards, and you're like, I don't know, but I feel like I'm on board now. I'm on board for either one. I am on board with the plot and the characters. I know I gave it kind of like an indifferent rating, but I enjoyed it enough to pick up the next one, so there's that. And then I read Twisted Cravings by Cor Riley. This is the 6th and final book in the Kimura Chronicles series. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but I definitely feel like it lacked something. I think I expected the male character to be a little different. I really liked the female character. This is a mafia romance, sort of. It's actually really not. Both characters really enjoy racing. They both like racing cars. And our female character goes to his racetrack or race company that he has, and she wants to compete, but she kind of has this secret, and she's trying to get close to him and his family. I did like it. I gave it 4 stars. I just feel like it was so different from the rest of the books in the series. There is some scenes that do feel similar to the actual series and the family in general. Something felt a little off. I did like the romance. I do feel like the female character and the romance itself were both very different from anything Cora has ever written. And sometimes I do feel like her characters can be a little repetitive or very similar and stuff. But this one definitely stands out. It is pretty different for what she has written before. I just don't know if I wanted it to be different, if that makes sense. I don't know if we needed this one to be different. It's also kind of like rival families or like rival mafia families and stuff. So it has that kind of plot in here, but I don't know. It felt a little weird. I still liked it though. Then I read Crush by Penelope Ward. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is a brother's best friend romance. It's also a second chance romance. Basically, the main characters kind of sneak around her brother and stuff. It definitely had like that forbidden aspect, which was enjoyable, but I don't know, it didn't really stand out to me, and in the moment I enjoyed it, but it's kind of forgettable. And then I read Mafia Bride by C.D. Reese, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I actually really liked it, and the rating is not because of, well, it is because of the book. It's because I personally felt betrayed, okay? Like, I did not see that coming whatsoever, and I feel stupid. Like, I literally feel like an idiot. I feel like the main character felt. I was so heartbroken and personally devastated. I can't believe that I did not pick up on that. I felt personally attacked. And that's why I gave it 3 stars. This is obviously a mafia romance, and it follows our female character who doesn't have any family, and she lives with her aunt and uncle. She was kind of raised very sheltered, but she does know that her family is involved in things. She has always heard very mysterious and dark things about this other guy who is kind of like the king. He's like the boss. He suddenly wants her, and so she gets sold or like has an arranged marriage with him. It's very interesting. I actually liked it. I just felt personally betrayed. And so I gave it 3 stars, but I'm very excited to read the next book. And then I read Ruthless Prince by Faith Summers, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I was kind of in a mafia mood after, and so I wanted to try to read something that didn't hurt me emotionally. And this one was alright. It wasn't really memorable. Like, to be honest, I don't remember anything about it. It's an arranged marriage. The female character's father owes a debt to this other family because he like ruined their lives, and they took back revenge and all this jazz. Yeah, it was okay. Like, again, it was fine in the moment, but like, I don't remember much. And the next 4 books I did a reading vlog for, and it's my paranormal reading vlog that I posted not too long ago. I read 4 books in that vlog, so I'm not going to go super in detail about these because I did go pretty in depth in that video. But the first one was Burn For Me by Ilona Andrews. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is a paranormal urban fantasy kind of romance. Like, it has, I would say it has more fantasy elements than it does paranormal, if that makes sense. This follows our female character who is a PI or like detective. She has this whole firm with her family. She gets this task to bring down this really dangerous man. And then of course there is this other dangerous guy that comes in the picture who sort of wants to help her take down this other guy, but also he has his own reasons for doing all of that, and he's very secretive. It was just a little boring for me. I just couldn't connect to the characters, and the romance was way too slow burn for me. And then I read The Revelation of Light and Dark by Sawyer Bennett, which I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. It's more like 3.5 to be honest. I enjoyed it. It follows our female character who has kind of this mental illness where she can see demons or like see people's faces in like this ugly form, and to her she's always thought it was like a mental illness thing, and she comes across this guy who believes her and who is actually involved in the world and kind of tries to explain to her what's going on and like who she is, but also like she doesn't know anything, and he has a lot of secrets. It's about fairies and demons. It was actually very interesting and different, and I'm definitely curious to continue the series. And then I read A Quick Bite by Lindsay Sands, which I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it. I thought it was really fun and refreshing. It's about vampires. So our female character, every birthday she gets this surprise from her mom, and it's usually like a human so that she can drink blood from the human. And so she goes home for her birthday, and in her old bedroom she sees this guy tied up, and so she assumes he is like her meal or whatever. Obviously this guy is confused. He was kidnapped, and it turns out he is not there to be Emil but to help with something else. Honestly, it was kind of funny. Like, it was definitely different from any other vampire books I have read, and I do see myself continuing the series in the future. I just felt like not much happened in this book. Like, I felt like it was very world building and very character driven, I guess. I loved the whole family though. I just felt like the romance wasn't the greatest, or like there just wasn't much of a plot in general. And then also for the same reading vlog, I read My Midnight Moonlight Valentine by JJ McAvoy, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved this. So this follows Druella, who is kind of a new vampire. She's new to the whole world and everything, and she continues to live her life kind of like a human. She's has a job, she only drinks from animals, that kind of thing. And one day when she's in the forest hunting for her next meal, she comes across this naked guy in the forest who has slaughtered a bunch of humans, and she becomes kind of confused and shocked that she like meets another vampire because she only knows like 1 or 2. And apparently this guy recognizes her, but he kind of has lost his memory, so he doesn't know how he got there and stuff, but he recognizes her and thinks that she is his mate, and she's so confused, and it's about them trying to figure out who they are to each other and like who he is and how he lost his memory. I really loved this book. I loved the characters. I loved the romance. The male character, Theseus, I think that's his name. I feel like maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but he is so romantic and swoon-worthy. I was just like obsessed with him. I haven't read the next book yet, but I'm so excited to read it. Also, there was kind of a cliffhanger and I did not see that coming at all. It's a beautiful book about fated mates and witches and vampires. There's a good amount of like history stuff in there as well, and a lot of world building. I felt like the author really put in a lot of effort and a lot of research and like really built the world and the characters, and it was so great. And I loved Theseus' family. They all made me laugh, and I just really loved this book. It's one of my new favorite paranormal romances. And then the last book I read in March was One More Time by Aurora Rose Reynolds. This is technically the second book in the Ruby Falls series, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It's kind of more like a 2.5. It was really short and it just didn't feel like anything new or special. Our female character is recently divorced and she's an author, and she moves back to her hometown to kind of start over, and she ends up falling in love with the contractor that helps fix up this new house that she bought. It was definitely a really cute and sweet read. It was also really quick, but other than that, it just didn't really stand out for me. So those were all the books that I read in March. Let me know how many books you guys read in March and which one was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!